Which company do you think gives the least amounts of ducks about its customer? Time Warner. Just look at the ducking channel guide. It's the most illogical, bloated, user-unfriendly thing I've ever seen. I've had Dish, DirecTV, and a couple different cable companies, and they were all better than this shit. I kind of admire how shitty Walmart's customer service is. It's like they keep on innovating new ways to disappoint the customer. Bank of America. They're so big they don't actually seem to give a shit about losing your business, because even if they fail miserably on every front, they'll still get bailed out. A company that operates without fear of losing their business is the most dangerous kind for a customer. Danske Bank, in Denmark, recently introduced a fee, approximately $100, for all customers with less than 100,000 euros in assets. They publicly said they did it to drive away the poor people. Does Susan G. Komen count as a company? 'Cause those shits are evil. If anyone wants to know why, it's because they sue anyone who uses the slogan for the cure, including non-profit groups. A lot of the money they raise doesn't actually go toward breast cancer research, and they let companies use their pink ribbon to promote their products, even if those products are unhealthy, among other things. There are better places you can donate to, but most people think the pink ribbon bitches are Glinda the Good. The worst service I've ever had has consistently been PayPal. But I think they just don't give a duck about Canadians. They don't give a duck about sellers. Had someone buy some online points from me, I took a video showing me send them to him. Guy said he didn't get the points, and they issued a chargeback. Guess who lost the case? Duck PayPal. Jiffy Lube. They'll make up all sorts of shit that's wrong with your car to swindle you out of more cash. Oftentimes it's a straight up lie. Source: there was a response on another AskReddit a while back from a former Jiffy Lube manager, who quit because he couldn't handle bullshitting innocent people for their money anymore. I'll post the link if I find it. I remember going to Jiffy Lube once and being told my air conditioner filter was missing. The tech had enough insight to lift the plastic door and unscrew 4 bolts to look for the air conditioning air filter. Sure. Here was our conversation. Wow. Good looking out. Checking name badge. Yang. High five. Gives high five. Thanks. Man, I can't believe I have been driving all this time without one. I gotta go call that dealership that I just bought this return lease from. They swindled me out of a filter. Yeah? Hey Yang, where's your trash can? I gotta toss this coffee cup. Over there. Points. Thanks Yang. Looks in trash. Picks up air filter. Replaces air filter. Hey Yang, could you screw that panel back in for me? Thanks Yang. Comcast by a mile. Edit. Funny Comcast story. I once had to run a booth at a career fair. When I showed up early to set up the booth, I noticed I was randomly placed next to the Comcast booth. Guess who showed up 3 hours late to run their booth? Ticketmaster. $10 electronic service fee. $5 convenience fee. Each ticket. Well, you don't just want convenience for one ticket, do you? The College Board. They're the company that administers the SAT. They have a monopoly on the testing business and take advantage of how students' future is essentially in their hands, and they can't possibly lose customers. Here are some of the College Board's policies that show how ridiculous they are. Have a last-minute issue before an exam? Our call centers open 10 minutes after the start of the exam, so you won't be able to resolve it and will have to miss the test. Call us just after the exam starts, and we'll get right to work rescheduling your exam and charging you a rescheduling fee. To take the SAT, you'll not only need to pay for the exam, you'll also have to pay a registration fee to sign up for the test. Oh, and you'll also have to pay us a third fee to actually use your score to apply for colleges. Panicking because you just realized that you have an application due in a week, but we take 2 weeks to deliver your scores? Pay us extra money and we'll rush your scores to colleges in only 3 days. Of course, most of the people who buy this are in panic mode and don't realize that universities won't mind if your scores come a week or two late. Also, while we say regular delivery takes 2 weeks, it really gets there in 3 to 5 days. We just massively exaggerate the time. We openly admit that our scanning machines sometimes misread your form and occasionally mark correctly answered questions as incorrect. You can pay us $50 to make sure we're doing our job correctly, and we'll double check to make sure we didn't make any mistakes. Also, despite somehow being non-profit, the lobby of our HQ is comparable to that of a 5-star hotel. Alcohol companies don't mean it when they say, please drink responsibly, because they'd rather say, become an alcoholic and drink our product daily. To be fair, if you die in a drunk driving accident or something, you're no longer buying their product either. I think the most honest would simply be, continue to consistently drink our product for a very long lifetime. Sally Mae. Sally Mae has the ability to harass you that makes the mafia jealous. Geek Squad. Edit, just a quick note. I work at Best Buy as retail. As much as I like all my co-workers in Geek Squad, they are all just kids that prey on old people who don't even know what a computer is. Unfortunately, Geek Squad policies are ridiculous. The Geek Squad protection plan is meant to protect your product from accidental drops and whatnot, and then supposedly we would try to fix it. If we couldn't, then the buyer would get a new comparable product. Depending on the product, the plan can be anywhere from $10 to $250. Anyways, Geek Squad never abides by this. They always deny customers if the problem is anything more than a missing key cover on a keyboard. So basically nothing. And then they'll try to say that you have to get tech support, another $100, and then it'll get fixed. But now, you also have to pay $150 to ship it and for the part. And then, in a few months the same part goes again, and they say they can't do anything about it. Anybody with half a brain would be able to do 95% Geek Squad does. Unfortunately, most are old folks who get it. TLDR, Geek Squad is useless, and they do not care about their customers at all. I had a buddy get kicked out of Best Buy once. He overheard the Geek Squad telling an older lady that it would cost like $100 to transfer her files from her old computer to her new one. He gave her his card and said that he'd do it for $20. He was overheard and got escorted out of the store. For beer money at college I would fix computers. My going rate was to have the person get a quote from Geek Squad, and I would do it for half of that. Let's just say the beer overflowed. Nestle. OP asked about companies that don't give a shit about their customers, not companies that don't give a shit about basic human rights and all that is good in this world. Air Canada, we're not happy until you're not happy. BC Farris, what else are you gonna do, swim? I always mentally follow up there, thank you for sailing with BC Farris, with because you have no choice. Diet pill companies. I love how at the end of some of their ads they say in a hyper fast voice, please discontinue use if you lose more than 10 pounds in 10 days. Like that doesn't tempt the duck out of folks. I love how some of them just sell placebo pills and guarantee that you'll lose weight when you combine the pills with daily exercise and a healthy low-calorie diet. No ducking shit. EA said every video game player ever. I don't know. I miss playing The Sims so much. I wanted to start back, but I just looked on Steam. My laptop doesn't have an optical drive, and if I wanted all the EPs and DLCs, it would cost over $400. Like damn. Rogers, I hate them with a passion. And Bell. I worked for Bell Canada as internet tech support. I felt so bad for you guys in the north. Please don't think that the support guys don't care about you. We did. It's just that we were limited by the higher ups. Except, you, Indian French Canadians. You guys are really nasty when your internet doesn't work. Sears. Worked for one. I'd like to apologize to those customers I had to open credit cards so they could get a discount. Games Workshop. We're losing money because no one is buying our expensive miniatures. Quick, raise prices 20% and push out more unfinished books. Comcast. I actually tried to go back after 4 years, because we moved and the only other option is shitty CenturyLink 1.5 megabytes. I paid a $100 deposit and had everything set up. The next day I got a call from them asking if I was going to pay another $200, because I forgot to return the modem when I cancelled. I still have the modem, and tried to explain that I could return it or just use that one. They weren't having that and wanted $200, so duck them. They saved me from themselves. That shitty little modem was worth more to them than a customer willing to pay a deposit and agree to send them nearly $100 a month for at least a year. Health insurance companies, specifically private for-profit ones. They care about one thing: preventing you from obtaining health care, whether you need it or not. Monsanto. I want to explain what people's issue with Monsanto is and how it's been blown way out of proportion. Monsanto is a company that engineers and sells seeds. They came under fire a few years ago because they were suing their customers in third world countries. The customers' crime? Keeping the new seeds dropped by plants, which were grown from Monsanto seeds. See, plants naturally produce seeds. Monsanto stipulates in all their contracts that the new seeds dropped by any Monsanto plants must be returned to Monsanto. The reason for this is simple: if they weren't, the farmers would never have to buy Monsanto seeds again. Now, I understand the argument that this is unfair to the farmers. Why should Monsanto have any say on what they do with their own crops? Thing is though, Monsanto was completely upfront about this stipulation. Every farmer they dealt with knew that that was a rule. You have to return the seeds. No one was forced to deal with Monsanto. Those that Monsanto sued knowingly and deliberately violated their contracts. Now, this next bit is personal opinion, but I would argue that Monsanto was justified in including the stipulation in the first place. Their genetically engineered seeds cost billions to develop. For that to be a good investment, they need to turn a profit. They will never turn a profit if they only get to sell the seeds for one season, after which all the farmers would stop purchasing them and just use the ones the plants grew. There is the argument that many farmers don't have a choice when dealing with Monsanto. Their seeds are superior to any other on the market in terms of yield. However, it is important to realize that were they not able to include the seed return in the contract, they probably never would have developed these seeds in the first place. Be a humanitarian all you want, but Monsanto is a company. Their job is to make money. If there wasn't any profit in developing their seeds, they never would have to begin with. They did not mislead, manipulate, or deceive their customers. They simply enforced contracts. I'm not saying Monsanto is a good company, or nice, or anything like that. It just bugs me to see it labeled as pure absolute evil by those who don't understand the full scope of the issue. Not a true company, but the US Postal Service. We haven't been getting our mail for literally weeks. This was understandable during the blizzard, but we'd been clear for over a week, and still no mail. We go to the post office. Their response is, well, if your mailman doesn't want to deliver it, there's not much we can do. The next day, a different roommate went in to complain, and they said, oh, well, we don't know who lives there. If you have multiple roommates, you have to have your names on the box. Keep in mind, we had been getting mail to every roommate in the previous months. And even after putting our names on the box, we still weren't getting mail. So yesterday yet another roommate went in, raised utter hell, and finally walked out with 4 pounds of mail. If USPS was a company, we drop them like a bad habit. As is, we can't. But if anyone has ideas for revenge on the mailman, we're open to suggestions.